Welcome to Las Vegas for the Canelo Alvarez versus Terrence Crawford press conference. It's a once-in-a-lifetime fight, and the clock is ticking down to September 13th, when boxing history will be made as two of the world's best collide for the undisputed and the ring super middleweight world championship. Live from right here in the fight capital of the world. Let's get started with the challenger. A man who has remained perfect through 41 professional fights with 31 knockouts. He's a 4-division world champion from lightweight to junior middleweight and the current WBA and interim WBO junior middleweight champion. Please welcome the ring's #3 pound-for-pound best and Omaha, Nebraska's own Terrence "Bud" Crawford.
Trying to convert this, my chain to your chain. I'm like Sprint, a Motorola, no service out of your range. You're out of your brains, thinking I'ma shout out your name. You gotta come up with better ways and actions to get your pain. All that pressure you applying, it's time to ease off. Before I hit you from the blind side, taking your sleeves off. As much as we's lost, still hard to please, boss. Don't be lying and crying, suck it up as a loss. Cause your axe is right, your whole label is right. And matter of fact, hold that.
And now, the champion. He's held world titles in 4 divisions, from junior middleweight to light heavyweight. One of the most prolific counter-strikers and body punchers in the world. This man is set to make his 68th walk to the ring. He is the undisputed king at 168 pounds. The first and only man in boxing history to achieve that feat. The ring's #8 pound-for-pound fighter and the pride of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Here is Canelo Alvarez.
Que tenía cuando morrillo fueron la mejor escuela, nunca me di por vencido. Si me miran por andar espaciando en la 6x6, es porque andaba bateando de antes de los 16. Me fajé para hacer lo mío, nunca me perdí la fe. Hice el más grande del mundo y el hocico les tapé. Mexicano soy, llevo en alta mi bandera que rifa donde quiera, la frente en alta donde voy. Me la aprieto con cualquiera listo para...
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name. Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Faisal Bafarat. I represent Riyadh Season, who proudly bringing us this card in Vegas. Finally, this is happening. This is what most critics call the fight of the century. 2 of the greatest fighters of all time, Canelo and Crawford, finally facing each other, and we're very thrilled to have that. I want to thank the Crown Prince for his support and His Excellency Turki al-Sheikh, whose vision brought us this event, and we look forward for an amazing fight.
What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming out today. Who's got the first question? Go ahead.
All the way in the back on the riser. I'll start with Canelo. You know, this is International Fight Week here for the UFC. We're used to seeing Dana up here, but we're not used to seeing him promoting boxing. So I guess, what's it been like here in the biggest fight week in UFC every year, working with Dana White?
I always like Dana White, you know. You guys make us like look at we are competing, but no, I'm not. I always like Dana White. I like and I respect all the UFC fighters. And I think this, we can show people, if we are together, we can do big things. So I'm very glad to work with Dana White and obviously everybody involved in this big fight, Turki al-Sheikh, Netflix, Nick Khan, everybody. So I'm glad to go with this guy. So I always like him, and he knows.
Similar question for Bud Crawford. You know, a lot of MMA fans, UFC fans, may not have ever seen you fight before, and they might tune in because Dana and the UFC are involved. So what has it been like maybe introducing yourself to a lot of MMA fans?
Say that again.
What's it like, you know, Dana, you got it.
I don't, I don't think you did your research by saying a lot of MMA fighters haven't seen me fight before. I think that's wrong. I got a lot of fans, friends that's been in the UFC, MMA field, being that I got a wrestling background. When I'm at the UFC Performance Institute, I got so many UFC fans want to take pictures that know who I am, so I don't know where you got that from.
And one final one for Dana. You know, for a long time, you've wanted to promote boxing. You've wanted to make a few changes. So I guess, what are you most excited for to introduce to boxing? Because this does kind of feel like a UFC production here at the press conference.
Well, you know, obviously, I've been talking about boxing for a long time. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for boxing. And I said it, you know, leading up to this. For this to be my first boxing match that I'm promoting is pretty surreal and incredible. And like Canelo was saying, the great thing about working on this fight, other than how epic it is, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime fight, I like both of these guys. They're both really good guys. They're great to work with, so we're looking forward to it. This is going to be fun.
Question for Canelo Alvarez. Canelo, last time we did one of these press conferences, you actually ended up shoving Bud at the end of it. What exactly caused that?
I'm new in English, so your English is a little bit... Can you speak a little bit slowly? Oh, no. Got it. You know what? I didn't. He did before. He tried to welcome me back, and it just was my reaction. That's it. You know? You know what kind of fighter I am. I always try to respect my opponents, and I think he don't did them because he really wanted to do. I think Turki Al-Ashi told him, you need to do something, and he did. And now before I respect his word, because he say, oh, I'm not gonna let somebody to tell me what I need to do. And he did, so. But you know me. I respect everybody, but if you fuck with me, so it's gonna be different.
Terence, is that true? Did Turki Al-Sheikh ask you to spice things up?
Turkey didn't ask me to do nothing. I didn't touch him.
You know.
Listen.
Hey. We know, buddy. We know.
First and foremost, somebody was in the room saying that I was scared of them. So I stepped to him and showed him who was the boss of this fight. I ain't scared of shit.
Hey, I never say that. Your uncle say that, not me.
I ain't scared of shit, and you're gonna find that out. As you seen, the last press conference,
we'll see.
When I walked you down, when you supposed to be the bigger man.
Yeah, hey, you say that because you fighting with nobody, and you obviously look like you're a great fighter. But you find out September 13th, this is gonna be different for you.
And it's gonna be different from you as well.
Question for Canelo.
The last fighters that you fought, they ain't on my level. And
I fought everybody.
The last fighters you fought since 2002.
Mention me one. You mention me one elite fighter. Just one.
You.
Oh, me.
Look,
it's gonna be me.
I don't care about anybody else.
And you will see that.
You. So when I beat you, is you gonna be a nobody? When I stump a mud hole in your ass, is you gonna be a nobody? You're gonna be just like everybody else. Watch. Same shit that everybody else been saying since I moved to 147, I ain't fought nobody. Every last one of them stump a mud hole in their ass and he gonna be next. Watch.
Question for Canelo Alvarez. You both are making history in this fight, and you've been in that spot before that Terence is right now. You moved up to chase greatness. So how do you compare that spot to the one you're in now, where you're fighting the guy who is moving up to chase greatness?
I've been in his situation before, and I know, it's gonna be a good fight. Believe me, it's gonna be a good fight. I'm gonna bring my best. I know he's a good fighter, but this is just different. You
I'm
know,
a great fighter.
You see what happened when a good fighter jump up and his opponent is great fighter. So you're gonna find out.
So that means you're a good fighter, and Bivol is a great fighter, right? Right? Is you a good fighter or a great fighter? Let me know.
I'm a great fighter.
So you got your ass whooped by a good fighter, right?
You're a good fighter.
I'm saying.
But I'm great.
Okay, okay.
And question.
Well, every time you stepped up, you lost. Great fighter.
I'm not.
Question for Terrence Crawford. You're daring to be great, like they say. So how do you approach not only fighting an opponent as credentialed as Canelo, but also moving up to chase greatness and dare to be great?
Listen, like I always said, I'm a big fan of Canelo. He's a great fighter, but I think I'm better. I think, you know, everything that I have inside myself, with the tools that I have, I'm capable of doing anything that I want in the ring. And come September 13th, I will become the first male three-time undisputed champion of the world. Simple.
Who's got the next question? Go ahead.
Pregunta para Canelo. Ya escuchaste la reacción de la gente mexicana aquí adentro. Escúchalos.
¡Viva México, cabrones!
¿Cómo se siente tener el apoyo de una nación entera y de toda la gente mexicana que está aquí?
Canelo, you've heard the support of the crowd. Can you hear him? You hear him screaming. What does it feel like to have an entire nation behind you for this fight?
La verdad es que me siento muy contento, me siento muy agradecido con todos ustedes, porque a lo largo de mi carrera siempre me han apoyado. Me siento muy contento de poder representar a mi país, en otro país, de pintar la bandera mexicana y estar involucrado en este tipo de peleas, en peleas grandes. En el fin de semana de la independencia para mí es un orgullo. Muchas gracias a todos por su apoyo y que viva México, cabrones.
I feel very happy and very grateful for everybody here, for everybody that's been with me throughout my career. An opportunity to paint that weekend of the colors of Mexico in the weekend of the independence of Mexico. Thank you for your support.
Question for Canelo Alvarez. The Mexican people travel everywhere to see you. How loud is it going to be on September 13th?
Oh, it's going to be big. You barely gonna can't talk with your girlfriend. Believe me, it's going to be big.
And question for Terrence Crawford. Your coach, Bo Mack, is here. How special is it to represent him on the biggest stage in the world?
Well, listen, man, we represent that for all of us. You know, I know Canelo got a big fan base, but there's only one thing you got to keep in mind. They can't fight for him.
Go ahead. Who's next? Go ahead.
Canelo.
Pregunta para Saúl Canelo Álvarez, en directo desde España, desde el partidazo de COPE. Ilia Topuria siempre ha dicho que te tiene muchísimo respeto, que sería un sueño llegar a pelear contra ti si algún día se pasa al boxeo. ¿Cómo ves a Ilia como boxeador y te gustaría que algún día llegase a darse esa pelea?
Ilia Topuria has said he respects you a lot, and he would love to fight you if he ever came into boxing. How do you see him as a boxer? What would you think of a fight against Ilia Topuria? How would you feel?
La verdad es que nunca lo he visto pelear bien, una pelea completa, pero para mí es un honor que obviamente agarren un poco de mi boxeo. También mis respetos para todos, para todo tipo de peleador, mis respetos para todos. Y lo de la pelea, bueno, ya veremos después, ¿no? Ahora sí que primero lo primero. Le deseo lo mejor.
First of all, I have never seen him fight a full fight, like a complete fight, but I really love what, and I respect a lot, and I admire, and thank you. And I have a lot of gratitude for fighters that, you know, take a little bit of my fighting and respect it. It's awesome to see other fighters like me. But let's see, as far as the fighting against him, first things first. Let's hear about this now.
Go ahead, sir.
Question for Terrence to your left. There's a narrative that's built over the last few years that Canelo's best days may be behind him. Given that narrative that's emerged, do you think that you're going to get the credit if you do beat him?
I don't know. You know, that's not a thing that I focus on. I just focus on what I need to focus on to get the job done. And so be it. If I get the credit, I get the credit. If I don't, as long as I got the victory.
Will that be frustrating? Because a lot of people have also not necessarily poked up.
It's not frustrating because I've been dealing with it my whole career, so it ain't nothing new.
And question for Saul, what do you make of people saying that your best days are behind you?
We'll see, September 13th. They can't talk, but you will see.
Thank you.
Go ahead, ma'am.
One for Terrence, one for Dana. Terrence, every time that you fight, so much is being made of your resume. Constantly people are saying, who have you fought? How much does it motivate you for this fight to actually hear that you're the underdog and that your resume is again being questioned?
Listen, that just tells how great I am. When I fight somebody that they portray to be somebody, I make them look like nobody, and they say, oh, well, he was that much better than this guy. He shouldn't have been in the ring with him. So I'm motivated. I'm always motivated. And come September 13th, like I said before, I'm going to make everybody cry when they go home.
Question for Dana. Dana, you've often said that you hated the idea of a stadium fight. What's it mean for you that this stadium fight is actually in Allegiant and in Las Vegas?
Yeah, well, the fact that I don't like stadiums because I feel like the experience isn't great for fights. So it's my job and my team's job to make sure that the experience, the live experience inside Allegiant Stadium is the best anybody's ever seen in combat sports. So that's our challenge going into this thing. And, we did the Sphere in a short amount of time, so I guarantee you we'll pull this off too. Thanks. Go ahead.
Question for Canelo and Dana. Have you made up after Dana made you wait for that Kovalev fight all those years ago?
Yeah, fucking platform made me wait, but I get mad after that. No, about him. I never wait for anybody.
What was the question? We make up after what?
Did you make up after the Kovalev incident a couple of years ago, where you made him wait a few hours for his fight while you had a show in New York?
I don't think we ever had a beef about that. We've never. I've known Canelo for a while. We've never had a problem ever. Super nice guy. People are good people. Same with Crawford. It's a great situation because I actually really like both guys.
Another question for Canelo. Your old opponent, Julio Cesar Chavez Jr., is fighting on Saturday. Do you have a prediction for that fight? How do you think it's going to go?
I hope Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. beat Jake Paul. My support is with Chavez Jr.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Question for Dana. How did UNLV come to an agreement to secure this fight date on September 13th?
I have no clue.
And question for the fighters. How are excited for you to fight at Allegiant Stadium?
I'm very excited to fight there. It's going to be the first fight in the stadium, and for me, it's always great to see so many Mexicans there cheering for me. So I'm glad to be involved in this fight.
I'm happy to stage the first mega fight at the Allegiant Stadium, and looking forward to all the big things that they do in the future with the sport of boxing and UFC.
Go ahead, sir.
Saúl, buenas tardes. Saúl, ahorita mencionaste, has peleado en septiembre muchísimas ocasiones. ¿Qué promesa le das a la afición mexicana para esta después de lo que pasó con Skull? ¿Cuál es la promesa para este 13 de septiembre por parte tuya?
So you've fought on September and that date and around that weekend many times in your life. And what promise are you making to the crowd after the Skull fight?
De mi parte, lo que a mí me compete, siempre he dado lo mejor, tratando de dar lo mejor, de hacer una buena pelea. De mi parte, que quede bien claro que voy a tratar de hacer lo mejor para que la gente salga contenta y que de mí no quede.
On my part, you always have a promise that I'm going to work hard and I'm going to give my best, and I'll tell you what, nothing's going to be left. I'm telling everybody, nothing's going to be left out there. I'm going to give my best.
Ya por último, en lo que has analizado el estilo de Crawford, ¿qué debilidades o qué momentos tú crees que puedes aprovechar de él?
And from you analyze it, from you studied from Crawford's style, what kind of loopholes and what kind of weaknesses do you see that you may be taking advantage of?
Mira, es muy difícil podértelo describir en este momento, ¿no? Tenemos todavía un tiempo para poder verlos. Lo que sí te digo es que un peleador como Crawford va a ser difícil verle debilidades, pero he peleado con todos los mejores. Entonces, tengo la experiencia de poder adaptarme a cualquier situación.
I'm going to tell you right now, it's really early in the process. We still have a lot of months still until for this fight, but it's going to be hard to find some weaknesses in Terence Crawford. Is a great fighter that he is, but I fought the best, and I've always found weaknesses, and I've always been able to adapt to any situation.
Go ahead, sir.
I got one for Canelo, one for Bud. For Canelo, what's the difference between preparing for a bigger fighter like Bivol compared to a smaller fighter like Bud?
Oh, you need to gain weight when you move up, and it's complicated. Both parts is complicated. I mean, for my preparation for Crawford is gonna be different. Obviously, I need everything: speed, power, moves, everything. So it's gonna be different. My sparring partners, everything needs to be correct.
Got you. My man Bud, will a win over Canelo put you ahead of Mayweather as the greatest boxer of this generation?
Listen, I leave the opinions to everybody else, but like I said, after this fight, when I defeat Canelo, I'm gonna be on Mount Rushmore. That's where I'm gonna be.
Go ahead, sir.
Hola Canelo, una pregunta para ti. Soy London de la Oreja de Coliflor desde Colombia. Hace unos días tuviste la rueda de prensa en New York con Dana y con Terence y pues comentaste este tema de que él no tiene un resumen de Elite Fighter comparado al tuyo, que has peleado con Triple G, con Floyd y con muchos otros. ¿Cómo tú posicionas esta pelea en un ranking si podrías así fácilmente con él?
So in this past weekend in New York, during the press conference over there, you actually mentioned that he didn't have that strong of a record, just like you, that fought Triple G, that fought other fighters that are really up in their level, like Mayweather. Where would you rank a fight against Terence Crawford in the ranking of your fights, if you could?
No, eso no quiere decir que no sea un buen peleador, ¿no? El que no haya enfrentado a un buen peleador, un elite fighter, no quiere decir que no sea un buen peleador, ¿no? Obviamente va a ser una de mis mejores victorias en mi carrera.
That does not mean he's not a great fighter. That doesn't mean he's not a good fighter just because of the fact that I mentioned that. But I'll tell you what, a win against him is going to be one of the best wins in my career.
Gracias. And quick question for Terence. Terence, well, the talks about him, about your resume, that you're not a elite fighter. After this fight, how would you rate yourself as a boxer in general?
Well, listen, you know what I mean? Like I said, a win over Canelo will put me on, Mount Rushmore, and I really believe that.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Go ahead, ma'am.
This fight is named Once in a Lifetime event. There has been a lot of talk about who was your best win for both of you. This question is for both Saul and Terence. When you reflect on your career and all the victories you've achieved, is there one particular fight for both of you that stands out as the most meaningful and you said, damn, I did that with pride?
I would say for me, the most meaningful fight for me was becoming a world champion. But in the fans' eyes, my biggest moment was against Errol Spence.
For me, I have many, but I think with Triple G is one of my biggest.
Go ahead, sir.
So I got two questions for Canelo Alvarez. The first one is, would you consider yourself to be the best Mexican fighter of all time?
No, I don't want to answer that question. I think my resume when I'm retired is going to talk, and I want to wait.
And the second question is, would you move up and weight to fight Bivol again?
Yeah, why not?
Go ahead, sir.
Question for Terence Crawford.
Bud, undisputed at 140, undisputed at 147. If you become undisputed at 168, where do you feel like you would rank in terms of the greatest fighters of all time?
Well, when I become undisputed, like I said, I'm gonna be on Mount Rushmore. I keep saying the same answer. Y'all keep asking me the same thing in different ways, but like I said, a win over Canelo Alvarez will put me on Mount Rushmore, and you know, I'm done with talking about it.
And just a quick one from Dana. Dana, where does this rank for you personally in terms of the biggest fights you've promoted or you've been involved with?
Yeah, I mean, obviously my first boxing fight ever. This is one of those fights that, you know, again, Sheikh Turkey, Saudi Arabia, without them, these type of fights wouldn't happen. And these are the kind of fights that you'd be talking about in 10 years that you wish you would have been able to see. That's what this fight is.
Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
Miguel Maravilla with Fight News. Dana, how would you compare this event? You've promoted numerous MMA, UFC events, and now this boxing event.
What I always try to do, and I've always tried to do since day one, is put on the best fights with the best fighters in the world. And like I just said to that guy, you know, this is one of those fights. He's moving up in weight, undefeated, you know, all the things that these two have accomplished in their career, and the fact that anybody's even saying to Terence Crawford, oh, does this mean, it's fucking ridiculous. These are two of the baddest motherfuckers of all time, and they're gonna face off at a higher weight class, and they're gonna fight, and this is a once-in-a-lifetime fight.
Terence, you made your big splash here in Vegas when you defeated Brady's Prescott. What's the difference now coming into this fight?
There's no difference. You know, Brady's Prescott was supposed to be this big, strong power puncher with all the experience, just like Canelo. Being in the ring with great fighters like Amir Khan, knocked him out in the second round. You know, so he had the resume. He had the fights. So, you know, that was years ago, though. I'm a totally different fighter now, you know, and I'm going to prove it September 13th. You can believe me, you can doubt me, but September 13th, I assure you I'll be walking away with my hand raised.
Saúl, ¿cómo comparas esta pelea a ambas peleas que has sostenido? Tu primera pelea contra José Miguel Cotto aquí en Las Vegas y ahora ya en el estadio de Allegiant.
So how do you compare this fight against your fight against Cotto and now in the Legion?
No, totalmente diferente. Soy otro peleador con más experiencia, con más madurez arriba del cuadrilátero. Totalmente otro peleador. Obviamente he crecido muchísimo en todos los aspectos y la verdad que muy contento ver todo lo que he logrado durante todo este tiempo.
Very different. Listen, I'm a different fighter. I've evolved. I got experience. I got maturity. I feel like a different person on top of that ring, and I think very different from everything in every aspect.
Muchas gracias. Thank you.
All right, I think we got 3 more questions here. Go ahead. You're first.
Yeah, Steven Cureño, KOR Sports. My question's for Canelo. Recently, on social media, a rumor came out that you rejected an offer from Elon Musk and Tesla to on a sponsorship based on just, you know, how ICE and Mexican, your people...
I don't want to talk about that, buddy. We're talking about fights. But I always support my people.
And then, question for Terence. How do you make sure you're putting on the right weight to be effective at 168?
Well, do it look like I'm putting it on right or wrong? So we'll see. Come fight night, we're gonna see if I gas out or if I can't handle the pressure or what and what. Let's see.
Thank you. Go ahead, ma'am.
Canelo, UFC ya tuvo 3 campeones mexicanos, Alexa Grasso, Jair Rodríguez y Brandon Moreno, quienes han sido grandes exponentes con el striking. ¿Qué características crees que comparten tanto los peleadores como los boxeadores mexicanos como tú?
Canelo, there have been 3 Mexican champions in the UFC, Brandon Moreno, Alexa Grasso, and Yair Rodriguez. And how do you compare their styles, and what do you think they pull from boxing, from Mexican boxing into the MMA world?
Es muy fácil esa pregunta. Somos mexicanos.
The answer is very easy. We're Mexican.
This is the last one. Go ahead, sir.
Hello, question for Canelo. Who would you rather fight, Mike Tyson or Jake Paul?
I should have made it 2 more questions.
I got another one.
Oh, we can't wait.
Say the next one, please.
All right. As a content creator and fan of boxing, what do you think? Should content creators get out of boxing?
Los creadores de contenido tienen que salir del boxeo.
What's the question?
Should content creators get out of boxing?
Yeah, I'm asking, should content creators...
Listen, there's always going to be fights that people want to see, whether it's content creators or whoever else. I really don't give a shit, one way or the other.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good fight, guys.
Thank you, guys. We're going to rip this stuff out of here, do the face-off, and then the UFC weigh-ins will be next. Thanks for coming out.